Hello and welcome to Channels Book Club. I'm Olakunle Kasumo. It's great to have you on the show again. We've got quite a mixed package for you today. We have a throwback segment, a good news, and a chat with a smart Nigerian girl. Please relax and stay with us throughout the show. First, our brain teaser time today will be different. We are taking you back to a chat we had with Prince Segun Omolayo, who is a former Nigerian diplomat, broadcaster, editor, and writer. It was about 2 years ago when we invited him here to review his insightful writer's manual titled Pop Errors in English, Writers Beware. You will probably find it tough to get a book that is as lucid and detailed as this one in terms of identifying and correcting common errors in English, particularly those made by Nigerians. In that chat with him, we analyzed a number of those errors Prince Omolayo refers to as redundancy. If you missed this before and you mean business about improving your writing and English speaking, take a good seat, pull out your pen and notebook, and get ready to write. Prince Omolayo offered lots of insights that day. And as for me, let's just say I looked a bit different. In page 14, you give an example. The monitoring and evaluation assistant has returned back. The monitoring and evaluation assistant has returned back.
Right.
And the problem here is returned back, according to you, and I totally agree. It's a very common expression, returned back. How should this be written?
Returned, that's all. The back is not required because
back.
the word re, in most words with re, they're indicating, a reference to something before. So that re doesn't make the back. It's like, say, restore. You hear people say restore back. You don't restore back.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's tautological. It's you restore, you return, not return back. So, but you see, the level at which these errors are committed makes them very, very significant for highlighting, as they have been highlighted in this book, because you will be shocked to listen to ministers, to listen to governors, to listen to professors using expressions like such. Exactly. So,
okay, this is a common one. A total of approximately 1,580 civil servants are employed.
Isn't that comical?
Very comical.
It's comical because when you say a total, that suggests certitude. You are sure of what you're saying. By the time you are able to sum it up and call it total, then you should be sure of what you're saying. So approximately is not required any longer. A total of something, if you're not sure of it, you can say approximately so number of employees. Yeah.
So that should be a total of 1,580 civil servants are employed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, here's another common one.
Yeah.
The wall was just about 1 meter high from the ground.
That's another comical one. The reason it's comical is when you measure a height, it's naturally from the ground. If you are measuring something from the top down, you are measuring depth. Not height any longer. So it's comical to say something is 10 feet high from the ground.
No point.
So
let's
from
just
the
say
ground,
the wall was just 1 meter high.
High is verbosity. Don't forget redundancy crops up from several sources. And that is why redundancy is so easy. It's so prevalent in the writing of people, even good writers, because the sources are so many. Either you are using unnecessary prepositional phrases, you are using verbosity, you are using bombasts, you are using circumlocution. For instance, a circumlocutory expression is, in the course of the lecture, the professor said so. All you are saying there, in an indirect form, is during the lecture. The 4 words there, you can use just one word for it. So that is redundancy deriving from circumlocution or an unnecessary prepositional phrase. A prepositional phrase is any phrase that starts with a preposition. Yeah.
So, Prince, another example you have in your book here is an interesting one you have here in page 25. The source of the fire was from the kitchen. The source of the fire was from the kitchen.
Well, I think the word from is the redundancy there. It's not required. The source is the kitchen. So it's clear. It delivers the message. So it's extra luggage put in from.
Source already says where the fire.
Exactly. The source of the fire is
from.
exactly. So,
okay. This is one that is also very common. Millicent is still not back yet.
Still and yet, these are the words that should not go together in the same construction, in the same sentence. Millicent is still not back, or Millicent is not yet back. So one of those two words should go. You can take still yet together, but you hear it everywhere. And people write this, yes.
Okay. A man of Sierra Leonean origin was arrested in the area.
Well, all you want to say there is a Sierra Leonean man, a Sierra Leonean man. You see, it's clumsy, it's not elegant writing.
Because it already talks about the origin anyway.
Yes, exactly. A Sierra Leonean man was arrested. You see, don't forget the essence of the whole of this work, this 500-page plus book, is lucidity and fluidity in writing. It's helping writers to eliminate those barriers to correct usage, elegant writing, and effective communication. In other words, if you can watch out for the errors, the pitfalls highlighted in this book and addressed in this book, you're likely going to write better.
A lot better.
Every one of us can make any of those mistakes, but it's only asking us to be more conscious of such things when we write. Ask yourself, is this sentence not getting too long? Am I repeating myself? Am I getting verbose? Is there circumlocution here? Then you write better if you can observe those rules and regulations.
Okay, here's another very common one. The core members' allowances are hardly paid as at when due.
That's a very interesting one.
As at when due.
Yes, you hear everybody saying as at when due, as at when due, as at when due. But it's not correct. It's as and when due. You know, when you use when, you are saying at when. Is it not clumsy? It doesn't flow. So when is already indicating timing, and so you don't need to put at there. As and when due.
Almost everybody says that.
That's what everybody.
As at when due in Nigeria. It's like Nigerianized.
It's not a Nigerian problem.
I'll pay you as at when due.
No, it's not correct. It's as and when due. So that's the way to write it correctly.
Okay, here's
and as I said, these things happen at such rarefied levels, and that's what makes it significant that we must highlight it so that people can see it's not correct. Because if you work in the civil service and your permanent secretary writes that and you write something different, you might be in trouble, whereas your palm sec is wrong. But if you know, then you can justify it to the palm sec and let him. Yeah.
The president is doing his utmost best. That's also very common.
Is that very common? You see, this is verbosity, sheer verbosity that is saying more than enough, saying more than what is required. The moment you say he's doing his utmost, that is it.
Utmost is utmost.
Utmost is utmost.
There can't be more than utmost.
Exactly. There cannot be, you can be more superior. You can, so it's something like that.
And best is best.
Best is best.
There's no...
Exactly. So at times people put intensifiers before best. They say very best. Very, which is an intensifier there, is not necessary. He's doing his best. He's doing his utmost. You cannot say he's doing his very utmost. It's not required.
Let's take a final example here.
Okay.
Corporate Responsibility Forum celebrates first year anniversary. Corporate Responsibility Forum celebrates first year anniversary.
Yeah, the redundancy there is year. You can combine year and anniversary. You know, anniversary is from anno, which means year. So first anniversary, second anniversary. You cannot say second year anniversary because in anniversary, year is already implied. So first anniversary, second anniversary, third anniversary, that's the way it runs. And before you wrap it up, there are certain things, let me quickly highlight it, which are very, very common too. You hear people say advocate for, request for, demand for, solicit for, seek for, deny of. All these verbs don't go with those prepositions at all. You advocate a cause, but you can do advocacy for something, which is different. That's different usage because advocacy is a noun. But if you're using that word advocate as a verb, you cannot say advocate for. You advocate something. You deny somebody something. I don't deny Kunle of anything. I deny Kunle his rights. You request your due, your entitlement. You demand your entitlement. You don't demand for. You don't demand more. But you can make a demand for your entitlement. So these things, they need to be
So maybe I
paid
don't
attention
maybe I
to.
don't understand English after all.
I know you understand English. You know, it's just a matter of taking extra care to look at how these things are used. When you read well-written books, look at how these things are used there. Then you see the difference.
Interesting stuff and very extremely important.
Right.
For writers, for everybody.
Exactly.
Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie has released her latest work titled Zikora. A lot of people are calling it a novel, but in reality, it is a short story. Chimamanda has developed a knack for making her stories address fundamental issues that affect human societies. This new work of hers takes an intimate look at motherhood and childcare through the eyes of a Nigerian woman in America. Here is how Goodreads previews Zikora.
When Zikora, a DC lawyer from Nigeria, tells her equally high-powered lover that she's pregnant, he abandons her. But it's Zikora's demanding self-possessed mother in town for the birth who makes Zikora feel like a lonely little girl all over again. Shunned by the speed with which her ideal life fell apart, Zikora turns to reflecting on her mother's painful past and struggle for dignity. Preparing for motherhood, Zikora begins to see more clearly what her own mother wants for her new baby, and for herself.
When Chimamanda has a new work out, you usually want to get your hands on it. She is such a talent. Now, were you hit as hard as I was when you heard about the death of James Bond? Well, I meant Sean Connery. The Scot was one of the greatest movie stars of all time and was most known for being the first James Bond actor. He brought the 007 character to life and made people like us fans. As a tribute, here's one of the best biographies written on Sean Connery. It's titled Sean Connery by Christopher Bray. This spirited and argumentative book is about the story of an actor learning his craft on the job and at the end of his career of a man pressing his stardom into the service of political awareness. He will certainly be missed. Fortunately for fans around the world, James Bond lives on. We'll take a break now, and when we return, I'll introduce you to a young Nigerian author who came all the way from the city of Warri to spend some time with us. We were delighted to host her. Peace Ojaka has an amazing story. Born into an environment saddled by lack and poverty, Peace was inspired by her determined mother and dad to rise above those limitations and become a first-class student. She got into Federal Government College Warri, became the school's head girl, and an academic star. At 16, she wrote this book titled The Determined Girl, a fictional work that is primarily targeted at teenagers. It's a fascinating story similar to the author's own. Ijeoma, the protagonist of this novel, is a girl who grew up in poverty but was inspired by her mother to rise above it. Peace is now 17 years old, an undergraduate engineering student at the University of Nsukka, and an advocate for the rights of the girl child. She joined us to discuss her book and experiences. Enjoy this. Peace, nice to have you on Channels Book Club.
Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, sir.
So, The Determined Girl.
Yes.
That's your book.
Yes, sir.
It's your first, it should be your first book.
Yes, that's my first book.
You wrote this when you were 13 years old,
Yes,
is that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
And then, when did you publish this?
I published it at the age of 16.
16?
Yes, when I was in SS3.
Okay, and now you are 17.
Yes.
Fantastic. Now, not many people write books at age 13. Fantastic.
Yes.
Not many people write books at age 13. So, well done.
Thank you,
now,
sir.
you wrote at 13, you published at 16. I'm curious, by the time you were publishing, it had been 3 years since you wrote it. Did you read it again and did you think that you could have done a better job or you needed to update it, or it was just perfect the way it was?
I updated it. I read the book over again. Then, while reading the book, some new ideas and thoughts came in. So I started cancelling and feeling back, cancelling and feeling back. Until I got the exact thing I wanted.
You got the
Yes.
exact thing. Now, you grew up in Warri. Were you born in Warri?
Yes, sir.
And then you grew up in Warri.
Yes, sir.
I'm guessing you loved reading as a child.
Yes, reading is my hobby. Yes, I love reading because growing up at home, my parents exposed I and my siblings to a lot of books, and it made, luckily enough for me, I was placed in the boarding school, so it gave me more access to our school library. So I look at reading as my culture, it's my hobby. I love reading
Something
a
you've done
lot.
from-
Yes.
Are you, what, I mean, in my days, I don't know what they say these days, we used to call Efiko. Efiko is like a geek, a studious, brilliant
Yes,
student.
I am Efiko.
I mean, I'm looking at your glasses,
Yes.
wrote your book at 13.
Yes.
You went to Federal Government Girls College.
Yes. No, Federal Government College.
Federal
Warri,
Government College
yes,
in
it's a
Warri.
boys and girls school.
Yeah. I'm suspecting you probably dusted everybody in class, that kind of thing.
Yes. Yes, that's why I was able to become the head girl.
You were head girl in
Yes,
school.
of my set.
And then I know you finished last year or so.
Yes.
Did you get admission?
Yes, sir.
Where?
At the University of Nigeria, Nsukka.
Studying what?
Mechanical engineering.
Aha, I knew it. Okay, well done. Okay, so this is literature,
Yes, sir.
but you're studying engineering. What happened there? I thought you probably would have been interested in, doing more writing and then going into literature or English or that kind of thing.
I love both sides, but my main focus is on science side. The literature part, I normally love literature, so I just look at literature as a subordinate, like what I can easily handle. So that's why I went for the sciences. And my main focus is on the sciences, but I still have the gift of literature. So I'll put it as a gift for me. Yes.
So something you nurture by the side.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the determined girl. What's the for people, viewers out there?
Yes.
What's this? Let's summarize the story. The story of
Okay.
Ijoma.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Okay. Determination, they say, is the key to success. My mom always tells me that determination involves effort, not just any effort, an extraordinary effort. And she always says that if you put your mind to doing whatever you want to achieve your goal or target, and you're determined, you definitely succeed. So I read histories on Nigerian education, and I found out that the girl child education is very much neglected.
In Nigeria?
Yes, with the ideology that success belongs mainly to the male, and the best of female successes are in the kitchen. So that was one of the motives that drew me that I should write. I should put my thoughts in writing so that others can read and see and know that the female child should not be neglected. Our education should not be neglected. My book is not just any book. My book is a book that you can read, I can read. It's a book that anybody can read, yes, and see how a girl was very determined despite her family background and the situations she passed through. She was able to overcome all because she was determined and she succeeded. Ijoma, my main character, she's a honest girl. She's obedient. She's God-fearing. And she's the only child of her parents. And her parents are financially handicapped. But she did not allow those situations to set her back because she was focused. She was determined. She wants to reach her target. She wants to reach that level. She does not want anything to hinder her. So she does not care what was going on. She did not take because of her parents are financially handicapped, so to lose courage or stuff like that. So she was very determined. Ijoma proved to her colleagues, proved to her friends while she was in village that you can achieve any goal you want. You can get to anywhere you want to get to.
And with
determination. Yes, with determination. Because like I said, determination is the key to success.
Determination
is the key to success.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's very good. Now, what's your plan? Do you want to write more? This is your first book, your debut novel.
Yes.
Do you want to write? Are you thinking of writing more? Are you already writing another one?
Yes, I'm still writing more, and I still love poetry, so...
Oh, you do poetry too?
Yes, I love poetry.
I always have huge respect for poets, maybe because I struggle to craft my own poems.
I do love poetry, and I'm still planning on writing more books.
Okay, what kind of poetry do you write? What do you write? What are your themes when you write poetry?
It could be what's happening at that moment. It could be under, like, Nigeria. I could just write about Nigeria, the situations we're passing through, and solutions to their problem, and put it in a poetic order.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have anyone you can recite to me right now? No, I
no.
caught you off guard. Okay, fantastic. Now, people talk about, and I say this with all due respect.
Yes, sir.
I don't like feeling old. I'm not old. Okay?
No.
Now, people talk about your generation.
Yes.
It's a very unique generation.
Yes.
It's fast. It's digital, very digital.
Yes.
You know, it's the internet generation. It's a technologically driven generation. All that. People talk about your generation that you guys don't read. You know, you guys are not really interested in reading. Do you agree? Is that true? Is that your general observation? Are you an outlier?
I disagree to the fact that we don't read. We do read our books. And
not your books, not your academic books. No, I'm not talking about your academic books.
Okay.
I mean a general reading culture. You will read your academic books because if you don't read, you don't pass.
Yes.
Not a big deal.
Yes.
But the general reading culture.
We do read our books.
Your books?
Yes,
your academic books?
Not only academic books. We do read. Reading is also our culture.
Is it?
Yes, it's our culture.
How? Most people of a generation, people say they don't. They're always on their phones, always on social media and all that.
I doubt that. We're not always on social media. Many of them, they use their phones as their books, like Wattpad. People read mainly from Wattpad. They don't like reading manuals. So reading is still our culture.
So what captivates your generation? What kind of books captivates your generation? Fiction, non-fiction, history, science fiction. What?
What captivates us most is fiction and non-fiction books.
Okay.
With science fiction books, those are what captivates us, and that's what we love reading a lot.
What do you read?
I love reading science fiction and fictional books.
Science fiction.
Yes, and fictional books.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Peace. It's been fantastic having this chat with you.
Thank you, sir.
Great to have you on Channels Book Club.
Thank you very
and
much,
well
sir.
done. The Determined Girl.
Yes.
Peace, the Determined Girl.
Yes.
Mechanical engineering.
Yes.
Great to have you on Channels Book Club.
Thank you very much, sir.
I hope you have had a good time with us. As always, we'll be delighted to get your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. I'm Olakunle Kasumo. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.